We need to stop normalizing women getting an education. Education is literally ruining our sisters. Most of them don't even know how to run a household. Most of them aren't marriage material. Most of them are becoming the men that they want to marry. They study to become a doctor or a lawyer or this, that, and the other. And then
All right, so there's this Muslim guy that came to the internet to talk about why Muslim women should not get an education. And he's saying all this because it feels like women are focusing on getting educated instead of them focusing on the main thing they are brought to this world to do. And do you know what the main thing is? To give birth, to be a good wife. So women are no longer submissive, they're no longer concentrating how to doing the right thing and keeping the home. What they are doing now is getting educated and it's affecting marriages. So it's kind of bringing suggestion that Muslim, especially Muslim women, because he's a Muslim guy, right? So he's saying Muslim women should stop getting an education if they want to have happy home. There were a lot of likes on that video. So many people agreed with what he was saying. Whereas some people, especially some Muslim women, were talking about it and like, no, this doesn't make sense. Da, da, da. Let me go ahead and roll this clip for you all to watch to the end. What is your take on this video while you watch? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll be back to share my own thoughts at the end of the video.
we need to stop normalizing women getting an education.
Well, Habibi, the only thing we should normalize is that when men like you go on social media, they need a trigger warning before I see your ugly face and hear the shit that comes out of your mouth. And I can say the same thing in 3 other languages. Why? Because I educated myself. Somebody find his mother, please.
I couldn't say that, but I let the queen itself speak. Brother, what will your wife educate your kids if your woman is not getting any education? Can you tell me this? Like, a Muslim has to strive for knowledge. This is literally what's said in our books, in our scriptures, in our hadiths. Strive for knowledge your whole life. I do not say about the education that you got like in the university, even after like getting a degree. Your striving for knowledge does not stop. As a Muslim, you have to learn and educate yourself your whole life. And it doesn't even mean like if you're male or female. So what stupid video is coming up on my For You page 10 times? I have seen that already.
There was a Muslim brother who said that Muslim women should stay away from education. Now the problem with this is my mother, who's a single parent, if she had no education, she would have lost me as her child. If she had no education, she would not have been able to make enough money to take care of me and her when I was a child. Think about your wife. When she gives birth, do you want a man to be there to deliver the baby, or do you want a woman to be there? Personally, I want a woman to be there. I don't want a man seeing my wife in that state. I want a woman to be there to deliver the child. So to say women should stay away from education, they shouldn't be educated, is completely wrong. What the brother failed to explain is that a lot of women tend to neglect learning the deen. They neglect learning how to be a wife. They neglect learning how to be a mother, all for this career path and this dream that they have. Now, fair enough, if you don't want to get married and you don't want kids one day, then listen, your career path, go for it. As long as it's halal. If it's haram, stay away. But if you aspire to be a wife one day, if you aspire to have children one day, don't neglect learning how to be a mother, and don't neglect learning how to be a wife, and don't neglect learning about Islam, all for this qualification that you dream about so much. Again, women being educated is very important. My mother would have struggled massively if she didn't have an education. Life would have been way different. Only Allah knows where I would have been right now. So yes, it's very important for women to be educated, but not only corporate education. They should be educated in how to be a wife and a mother, and in Islam as well.
We need to stop normalizing women getting an education. Education is literally ruining our sisters. Most of them don't even know how to run a household. Most of them aren't marriage material.
Men like this like to say, oh, we need to stop making sure that women can go to school, that they get an education, they should be homemakers and nothing else, while completely ignoring that there is already a country where that is the case. And I should know because that is where I am ethnically from. Interestingly enough, the women there are not very happy about their education being taken away. They don't feel fulfilled in their feminine role. They don't feel grateful for being able to be at home to take care of the kids and do nothing else but that. For almost 3 years now, women in Afghanistan are living that reality. So my guy, while you are making up these fake scenarios, let's talk about the reality of women who actually go through that, and surprise, surprise, it does not benefit them but men like you who control them in the system. The self-unaliving rates, especially when it comes to women, have risen. You only get education until 6th grade, nothing afterwards. You have girls saying that it is a curse to be born as a girl because they have no future, they have no education, they have no life. They want to go to university, they want to become doctors, which is also a weird thing. Because in your video, you say that we don't need more people becoming doctors. Disgusting. I have heard many things, but I have never heard anybody say disgusting after talking about somebody becoming a doctor. An occupation where your main focus is to save human lives. And you say disgusting right afterwards? I genuinely want every single doctor in his life, male or female, to refuse to treat him after you get sick the next time and simply say, ugh, disgusting. Anyways, let's get back to Afghanistan, the country where his fantasy became reality. When you take away education for women and you take away their future, the only thing you have is control over their lives, their livelihoods, because they are nothing without you. And then of course you don't think about all the women who don't even have men in their lives to even take care of them. Education is not ruining your sisters, it's men like you. Wannabe influencers who get their livelihood by marketing their bodies, but then shaming women for literally getting degrees. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. If a woman gets a degree and she does not want to be with you, it is not that degree's fault, it is your fault. If the only women who are willing to spend their lives with you and to cater to you are women who are naive and uneducated, that does not show that you are a good Muslim or good man or good anything. Also, he expects women to, stay at home, to only take care of the children, to clean the house, to take care of them while they are the ones at work. But they don't think about the fact that in this economy, for most people, that is not possible. Most Muslim, Middle Eastern, Central Asian families, whatever you want to call them, have more than one kid. I would say most families that I know have like 3 to 4 kids. There are not many people who are able to take care of 5 to 6 people with one income. That is not the reality of our economy. And of course, if you take care of those kids, you don't just want to, go by with a bare minimum. You want to be able to send them to sports. You want to be able to treat them a little, go on a vacation every few years. Maybe do something with your wife where you treat her, get her things that she might want or need, not just things that are essential. Then you of course also have to save for your retirement because most countries don't have good retirement funds for the elderly. If this influencer lifestyle is going great for you, you do you, and that's amazing. But that is not the reality for most average normal income families. You guys want stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home wives, but then you cannot afford to give them the life that a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife deserves. I'm currently in law school and I work at a family law firm. And as somebody who is in that position, I will tell you one thing. I will tell Muslim women one thing. When you get married to these men, make sure you don't just get an Islamic marriage, especially when you're in the West and you live in a country where that marriage is not viewed as an actual marriage. Because that is also something I hear a lot of these dude bros say. You don't need these Western papers. As long as you have God's blessings, you don't need anything else. Meh, wrong. Once he leaves you for another woman, once things break apart, and once he has enough of you, God's blessings will not get you anything. In the eyes of the state, you're basically girlfriend and boyfriend. You will get no privileges. I have seen it time and time again, women coming into our law firm being like, I have been married to this man for 15, 20 years. And we're like, okay, where are the marriage papers? And they're like, oh, we just had a nikah. We were not legally married. I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot help you that much. You can get child support if you have a kid, but for you and your expenses, you can basically get nothing. These men love to say Islamic rights left, right, and center until it's time to leave a woman. So please, as somebody who has to deal with a lot of these cases, and I genuinely just want the best for you, make sure you get married legally. Get your nikah, do whatever you want, but also get a marriage certificate in whatever country you are. And you know what? Better yet, a prenup. If one thing working in a law firm has shown me is always get a prenup. Having an education is a safety net for a woman, and it also helps women get out of dangerous situations. I have had to deal with women who stayed with abusive partners for a very long time because when they were young, those husbands told them, you don't need an education, I'm always going to take care of you. Just depend on me. So they stopped all of their aspirations. They became those housewives, those mothers that you want. And now you leave them high and dry. You can also be a housewife and have an education. That is something that can then help you if anything goes wrong. I also saw another video of a woman talking about how she is a widow. If she would not have had that education, she would be on the streets with her children. Her husband was perfect. He took care of her. He took care of her kids, but he unfortunately passed away. Those are things that just happen. And if you would actually care about those so-called sisters you're talking about, people you're supposed to care about, you would think of all of these things, but you only care and think about yourself. But let's see his response to this. I'm sure he responded in a very mature and enlightening manner.
It's actually been a lot of Zionists that have replied against that video. Zionists, like on their account, it'll say Zionist.
Are you not embarrassed? This is very embarrassing for you, my guy. Is that what high testosterone means to you, my guy? trying to deflect from your actions and the valid criticism you have been getting left, right, and center, and mostly by Muslim women or men who just call you silly because that is what you are. And you just blame it on, oh, I am just, being attacked by Zionists. They're the ones who are, being mean to me. That means I am so valid, because if it's only Zionists against me, that means I am in the right. Yeah, those so-called sisters and brothers that I'm supposed to care about and that I'm supposed to love and cherish, I'm ignoring their videos. But I am curious, since I very openly am not a Zio. I have a playlist called this with over 150 videos on here and over 1,000 stories like that on my IG, so I am clearly not the people you're talking about. So what is your response to me? Who are you gonna blame now? Is hiding behind Zios the high testosterone things you have been talking about? Is that the manly and truly masculine thing you embody? Is that what real, strong men do? By the way, I am fully aware that my video is not going to make him change his opinion. He wants a naive and vulnerable woman to be trapped in his household, and hopefully he will not get that. So no, I do not care about his feelings or his thoughts, but I care about women. So I am telling you, if people like that talk like this, stay away from them. There are amazing Muslim men out there who will uplift you, who will love you, and who will not call you disgusting because you're getting a degree and are becoming a doctor. As I said before, I am in law school, and I am studying with a lot of beautiful Muslim women. Some of their biggest supporters are their families, their fathers, their brothers, their cousins. Men like the dude that I just stitched know that the only type of way they will have a relationship with a woman is if they keep them uneducated, if they keep them naive, and if they keep them beneath them. And they will try to sell it to you by claiming that this is what religion is supposed to be. Men like this are the reason why a lot of religions get bad reputations, because they weaponize them. As an Afghan woman, I should know, and it's also very telling that they talk like this. How their sisters are doing wrong things by getting educations and becoming smarter and more independent. But they never call out their brothers in Afghanistan who are hurting women and who are oppressing them and have been oppressing them for years now. Then it's all silence. All of the sudden it is not about, doing the right thing in the name of religion. All of the sudden it is not about protecting the core values of your religion. And you can tell that they do not care by the way that they talk. He said we have to normalize women not getting an education, not we have to normalize women being more comfortable and having it easier being stay-at-home moms, being stay-at-home wives. He doesn't want to give you choice or make it better or easier for you to do something you actually want to do. He wants to control you. And not just you, but all women. And also, please, for the love of God, stop using Palestine and Zios and whatever else to make yourself look better when there has never been anything good about you in the first place.
As a Muslim man, I'd like to personally come out and disown the statement that Muslim women shouldn't work. See, the problem is with this statement, there's a lot of sisters out there, Muslim sisters, who have no father. Their father's out of their life. They are trying to make a better life for their single mother. They're the eldest. They're trying to make a better life for their single mother, so they have to go work. They have to go get an education. This shouldn't be something that's frowned upon. They see it as their only option out. There's no man to look after them. They see it as their responsibility to step up to the plate. And I cannot come on here and judge these sisters and say, they're getting education, they're doing this. A lot of sisters, they're forced to do this. You think a woman wants to go get an education? You think she wants to go work? Most women in an ideal society, they don't want to do that. They don't want to slave paycheck to paycheck, trying to scrape by and just pay their bills. They don't want to do that. They want peace. The problem is, in today's society, a lot of men, they're not providers. The men are not what they used to be. So the problem is here, these women, they have to get educated. They have to go work because no man's going to come and do it. Most of the men nowadays, they're not capable of providing. They're not men. So the woman's forced to try to do that role. It's not by choice. Now, if a good man came into their life, he's going to take care of everything, pay all the bills. They can trust him. He's a good, strong, hard-working Muslim brother. He's going to provide for her, protect for her. These sisters do not have a problem staying at home.
Just stop normalizing women getting an education.
Every now and then, I'd see a post of this ilk, and it reeks of insecurity. Is your masculinity so fragile and so shallow that the concept of an educated woman threatens your feeling of dominance? Listen, I agree that women today aren't primed to be housewives as they were 100, 200 years ago. And that's precisely why, because we're not living 100 to 200 years ago. You men who are running this take of women are too educated nowadays, they should focus on being housewives. You are living in a fantasy world, or you are living in your head during the heyday of the Islamic Empire. Let's take a page from Kantian deontology and say that this rule that you want, that women should focus less on education and being housewives, was universally applied. It's you same men who say, oh, I can't have my wife be looked at by a male doctor, by a male dentist. I want a woman dentist. But you don't want women to be educated. Do you not see the contradiction in that? Furthermore, let's say you get your wish and you marry a woman who has absolutely no experience with the outside world, with being in the workforce, with having a job. She is just fully primed to be a housewife from the moment that she leaves mandatory education. And then you die. What does she do? Oh, well, then you'd say Islamically she should be looked after by her family, by her father, by her uncles, by her tribe. The key word there is should. It's not always the case. We aren't living in the heyday of the Islamic empires where tribes and families were so close-knit that they would look after you. It's not always the case. We don't live in a communal society anymore. We're very individualistic. A woman today needs to be able to stand on her own 2 feet if she doesn't have a financial backup. Like, it genuinely grinds my gears when we pretend like women have not been educated throughout the history of Islam and it hasn't been encouraged. Like, I guess we'll just pretend that Rufayda al-Aslamiyya, the woman who was a surgeon, who was a nurse during the Battle of Khandaq, the one who nursed the wounds of Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh when he was struck, I guess we'll pretend that she didn't exist and she wasn't educated. I guess we'll pretend like Khadija radiallahu anha, who, after her 2 previous husbands died and she inherited their businesses, didn't run the business and had business acumen. Yes, she didn't do the trading by herself, but she had to pick who did the trading. I guess we'll pretend that Lubna of Cordoba, one of the most gifted mathematicians in Islamic history who taught the children of the Khalifa mathematics, didn't exist. Let's just erase the existence of Fatima al-Samarqandi, Fatima al-Fudayliyah, Fakhr al-Nisa Shuhada. Let's just erase all of their existences as if they weren't major contributors towards hadith science. Let's just completely erase that. Just say it as it is. You are afraid of a woman not being financially dependent on you because in today's age, with security, modern policing, housing, the government, you don't bring anything else to the table.
I'm not actually surprised hearing this from a man saying that women should not get educated. They should only focus on the primary thing they were brought. Not even the primary thing. The only thing, according to him, the only thing they were brought to this world to do is to reproduce, be a good wife, slave for your master, submit, all those things. That's the only thing women should do. So anything outside that is wrong. I'm not surprised. This is not the very first time I'm hearing something like that. Not just from a Muslim man, also from other religion, and even some that are not even religious. It is what most men put in their head. They kind of feel intimidated by women that are educated. They feel intimidated by high-value women. So, because they know that if you are educated and you are exposed, it's difficult for them to just tame you. It's difficult for them to just deceive you and just put you in their home to just be a dummy. It's very, very difficult. They have to work so hard to get you. It's difficult for men like that to go and meet an educated women and say, oh, I want to marry you and be my 4th wife. The woman will know her standard and she might not want to do it. Or it's difficult for them to even marry educated women and say, have 2nd wife or something. It's very difficult for them. So they are facing, to me, I feel like they are facing so many challenges, and that is why he had to come outside and be the spokesman for these people. Because a lot of comments from Muslim men that were agreeing to it and likes on that post. Speaking from, one of the guys was trying to act like he's supporting, or he's not supporting what he said. It was like, my mom was educated, that's why she was able to take care of me. Don't tell me women should not get education because what if something happens? I feel like he's supporting it, or I feel like he's against it because of his own personal interests. Because it was like, women can go to school, be a good wife, how to be a good mom, What about men? Because I was waiting for him to talk about, and also men should also go to school to be a good husband. Why does it have to be women that have to be trained to be good wives? Why does it have to be women that have to go to school to learn how to cook and be a good wife? What happened to this man? Because when it comes to marriage, it is a man and a woman. And for marriage to work, they have to come together. Both of them have to have sense. Because if it's only the woman that is struggling and trying to make things work, that marriage is not going to be successful. So I really don't understand why advice is only given to women. Women should only be the one to do this, to learn how to make the home good. You see weddings, you see them advising women so much. The woman, they will tell you, this is what you should do. This, when it comes to the man, they'll just be like, But when it comes to the woman, it's a serious matter, because they tell you a woman is the one that owns the home, and whatever you do determine what happens to them. And that's a lie. Because most of the time, if you're only advising only one person, because to me, I feel like marriage is a combination of a man and a woman, right? So if you're only telling one person how to make that marriage work, and the other person doesn't need to put so much work to make it work, it's not going to work. And it's just being selfish. It's just being like, okay, this thing is not really important to this other person. So why are these men getting married to women? They should just marry themselves and let women for his own selfish interest, because we're saying, okay, what if something happens? Da, 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 da. So that is what I took from his own speech. Anyways, I'm not actually surprised with these men coming to say all of this. But then I feel like most Muslim women that, decide not to get education, because I talk about the Afghanistan women, what is going on, that is the law in their country. There are some that it might even be family. The family will tell you, because you're going to get married, it is disrespectful for you to have more education than your husband, because you will be very proud. So some family try to tame you as a woman and tell you, oh, I don't want to waste so much. You see some fathers saying they will have probably 2 girls and probably 4 boys in the home. You will see them sending those boys to school and telling the girls, go and learn a trade, because I cannot waste my money on you taking you to school and get more education, when at the end of the day you will end up under a man and you will not be able to use those education for anything. But some kind of tradition, as a woman, you cannot work. It's just the man that will work and bring everything, like it's 100% providing for you. So even if you work, even if you're working within the house. And most of the time, those men will always want their woman to cover their face from head to toe so that no other person will see them. What is your take on this Muslim man saying that women should not get an education because it will not make them a good wife and a good mother? What is your take? Let me know your thought down in the comment section. Respectfully, it's your girl Mariah Davis, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you can get notified once I upload another interesting video, and I'll see you all in my next one.